We didn't imagine this. What I am about to tell you has no explanation. It is the strangest thing that ever happened to me or anyone I personally know. I work late nights at a dive bar about 30 minutes from home. It's not glamorous, but it's steady work, and most nights are quiet. The night this happened felt completely normal. I closed up, got in my car, and started the long drive home. Most of the way back is nothing but twisting back roads. No streetlights, barely any traffic. Just miles of darkness cutting through woods and farmland. That night was unusually foggy. I've driven those roads countless times, but visibility was worse than I'd seen in years. Even with my brights on, it felt like I was driving into a glowing white wall. It slowed me down, which irritated me because I was exhausted and just wanted to get home. I was about halfway there when I saw it, a faint, blinking yellow light off to the right side of the road. At first I figured it was a reflector or a roadside marker. But as I kept driving, the light stayed perfectly in place, blinking at a steady rhythm, like it was pacing me from somewhere inside the fog. At first I brushed it off, but after a minute of it holding the exact same position, I felt this heavy sinking feeling in my stomach. I slowed down to almost a crawl, thinking maybe I'd pass it or it would vanish. But it didn't. It stayed exactly where it was, blinking in the same pattern like it was waiting. Finally, I came to a full stop. The light stopped too. Same distance, same rhythm, same spot. Then it changed. The blinking stayed steady, but the light itself started growing brighter, pulsing harder, like a flame catching a sudden gust of wind. Something about it felt alive, intentional. That's when every alarm bell in my head went off. I reached down to throw my car in reverse, but that's when I realized my engine wasn't running. I hadn't touched the key, hadn't killed it, but my car was completely dead. Silent. My hands started shaking, and I never shake. I pour drinks for a living. My hands have to be steady. I tried the ignition once. Nothing. Again. Nothing. The car wouldn't turn over at all, and the whole time the light was growing brighter, stronger, like it was feeding on something. I grabbed my phone to at least record what was happening, maybe call someone. But my phone was dead. Completely black screen. I knew I had at least 20% battery when I left the bar, but now it was just gone. And then, without warning, the light flared to an impossible brightness, like a miniature sun exploding right in front of me. I had to throw my arms over my face. It was searing, blinding. And then, it was gone. Just like that. The fog was still there, thick as ever, but the light had vanished. I tried my ignition again, and this time the engine roared to life like nothing had happened. I didn't waste a second. I drove the rest of the way home without taking my eyes off the road, terrified that looking away even once would make it come back. Nothing else happened that night. Nothing's ever happened since. I've told this story to my family, my friends, even a few regulars at the bar. I've heard every explanation: swamp gas, faulty headlights, electrical issues. But none of them explain how my car and my phone both died at the exact same moment that light appeared. And none of them explain why I still think about it every single time I drive that road. Story note 2. This happened a couple of years ago. I'm a long-haul truck driver, so I'm no stranger to long, empty roads. That night I was on my second-to-last delivery of a cross-state loop, just trying to finish up and get home. My route took me down one of those desolate desert highways where there is nothing for miles. No towns, no gas stations, barely even any lights. Just 2 lanes cutting through endless open desert under a sky packed with stars. It was the kind of drive that makes you feel like the last person on Earth. I was about an hour from my next drop-off when I saw it. In my side mirror, a dark SUV appeared. Not tailgating, not speeding, just keeping its distance. No matter how fast or slow I went, it matched my pace perfectly. For nearly 40 miles, it sat there. Always the same gap. Never passing, never falling back. At first, I told myself it was just another cautious driver, maybe nervous about passing a big rig. But we went through multiple passing zones, and he never tried once. The longer it went on, the more it got under my skin. Finally, around 2 a.m., I decided to pull into a small roadside rest area. It wasn't a real truck stop, just a dirt lot with a few faded parking spots and a flickering light above two ancient vending machines. My plan was simple: grab a soda, stretch my legs, and let the SUV go by. But then I saw him pull in too. He parked way in the back, in the darkest corner of the lot. My irritation turned to anger. Whoever this was had been shadowing me for nearly an hour, and now he had the nerve to follow me into an empty lot. I jumped down from the cab, ready to confront him. But before I could get close, the SUV's engine roared to life and it tore out of there like it was running from the cops, spitting gravel and dust. I tried to catch a glimpse of the driver, but the windows were tinted too dark. Within seconds, the red glow of its taillights vanished back into the night. I stood there for a minute, trying to calm down. Part of me felt relieved. It looked like whoever it was had finally left me alone. But another part of me couldn't shake the fact that they clearly hadn't been following me by accident. The vending machines were empty, so the stop was a bust, but I was too wired to get back on the road right away. I decided to stay put for an hour or two and catch a quick nap before finishing the route in the morning. I did a walk around on my rig, checked the trailer locks, then climbed back in the cab and reclined the seat. For a while, everything was quiet. The lot was completely still. I cracked the window to let in a breeze, and before I knew it, I was asleep. Maybe an hour later, a faint crunching sound woke me, gravel shifting under someone's feet. I froze. Being a trucker, you get used to sleeping light. A strange sound at a rest stop can mean the difference between keeping your rig and losing everything. I slowly reached over and cracked the corner of the cab's blind. Two figures were crouched near the rear wheels of my trailer. One had a flashlight flashing signals back and forth to the other as they inspected the latch. Then one of them reached into a bag and pulled out what looked like a pair of bolt cutters. That was it for me. I slammed my hand down. Story No. 3. There's nothing quite like a night drive, especially in the summer. Picture this: windows down, warm air rushing in, empty highway stretching endlessly ahead. No cars, no cops, just me and my dad's BMW M3 cutting through the night. I wasn't going crazy with speed, but I was definitely letting the car do what it was built to do. Feel the engine, feel the road. No music, no distractions. It's one of the only times I feel truly free. About 30 minutes into the drive, I got this sudden, unshakable urge to take the next exit and hit the back roads. No reason. Just one of those random impulses you know you have to follow, or you all regret it later. So I did. I cut off the highway and started weaving through narrow back roads, taking tight bends, pushing the car just enough to feel that perfect grip and release of the tires. The streets were totally empty. No traffic, no houses with lights on, no one around at all. Then I saw it. A flash of light in the road up ahead. I slammed the brakes and stopped just in time to avoid hitting a shopping cart, just sitting there in the middle of the road. My headlights bounced off the metal frame, making it glow eerily. It looked so out of place that I had to stop. Against my better judgment, I put the car in park, turned on the hazards, and got out. The air outside was warm but unnervingly still, buzzing faintly with summer insects. The only sound was my cooling engine ticking behind me. I approached the cart slowly, half expecting to find something inside it. But it was empty. Just a normal shopping cart in a place it had no business being. That's when movement caught my eye. Two figures burst out of the farmland to my left, sprinting toward me. I didn't think. I ran back to the car, heart in my throat, jamming the start button with shaking hands. The engine roared to life just as they reached me. One of them stopped a few feet away, but the other kept going, slamming full speed into my passenger side door with a sickening thud. He didn't even react, didn't flinch. For a split second, we locked eyes through the glass. His face was smeared with dirt or blood, and his expression was wrong. Not angry, not afraid, just empty. His clothes were ripped to shreds, like he'd been running through barbed wire, and blood was pouring from somewhere on his body. Then he grabbed for the door handle. That was enough. I floored it, swerving around the shopping cart and tearing off into the night. My hands were locked on the wheel the entire drive home, mind racing. Part of me kept thinking I should have stayed, that maybe he needed help. But another part of me knew that whatever was going on out there, I did the right thing by leaving. I called the police while I was still driving, gave them the location, and they said they'd check it out. When I finally pulled into my driveway, I got out to inspect the car, and my stomach dropped. Blood covered the entire passenger side. It streaked across the door, the mirror, even the rear quarter panel. There was a small dent where he'd hit, but it was the blood that really got to me. There was far more than I expected. It was almost too much. The next morning, my dad saw the car and absolutely lost it. He didn't even let me explain before yelling about the dent, the paint, how irresponsible I was. I kept trying to tell him it wasn't my fault, but all he saw was blood on his car. Eventually, after I cleaned it up, he calmed down enough to actually listen. He even admitted he was glad I got away. I still think about that night. I'm pretty sure I know what happened. Some kind of setup. Those guys put the shopping cart there to get someone to stop. I was just the unlucky idiot who fell for it. They didn't get to me in time, but I still wonder about the one who hit my car. The police never called me back. And honestly, I don't know if I want to know what they found, if they found anything at all.